Hello children, here's your science tutor, Nishat. A new day and a new chapter to learn. So today, let's learn about metals and non-metals. You've all heard of the terms metals and non-metals. Can you just look around and see if these exist in your surrounding? Well, what's your table made up of? Either aluminium or wood? What about the phone or laptop you're viewing this video on? Is it made up of metals or non-metals? Well, yes, it is. In fact, all the things around us are either made up of metals or non-metals. But how can we differentiate between these metals and non-metals? Well, for that, we will have to look into the physical properties of each category in detail. So let's begin. Okay. We all love wearing those ornaments, jewelry, right? But what are these ornaments made up of? They are generally made up of either gold, silver or platinum. So let's look at them quite closely. Do these ornaments shine? Yes. Well, for that matter, take the example of the aluminium vessel at your home. Does it have a shine? Yes, it has shine. So this is the first property of metals, that is, the metals have a shining surface, which is called as luster. So the metals are lustrous. Next, have you ever observed when the aluminium or steel vessel in your kitchen drops on the ground? Does it break at the moment? No. What about when you hammer a nail? Does it break? No. So this shows that metals are quite hard enough. So this is the next property of metals, which says metals are hard and exist in the solid state at room temperature, except mercury, which exists in the liquid state at room temperature. Next, we have all seen that pretty silver lining or the silver foil coating on certain sweets. And we have also seen the aluminium foil in which we wrap the food. And we are already aware that these silver and aluminium are metals. So metals show this amazing property of being beaten into thin sheets, which is nothing but malleability. So this is the next property of metals, which says that metals are malleable, which means they can be drawn into thin sheets or they can be beaten into thin sheets. Coming to the next property of metals, have you seen the electric wires? What are these wires made up of? Either copper or aluminium, right? So this shows that metals can be even drawn into thin wires, and this property of metals is called as ductility. So metals are ductile, which means they can be drawn into thin wires. Let me tell you an amazing fact about gold. A single gram or just the 1 gram of gold can be drawn into 2 kilometer long thin wire. Wow, isn't that amazing? Yes. Let's look into the next property of metals. The metal utensils like steel and aluminium are used for cooking. But why? Well, that is because these metals are good conductors of heat, so that the heat energy from the stove can be supplied and transferred to the utensil, and thus the cooking can be possible. So this is the next property of metals, which says that metals are good conductors of heat. Hey, wait. Prior to this, we just saw that electric wires are made up of aluminium and copper. But why? Well, that is because these metals are also very good conductors of electricity, and hence they are used in electric wires. So this is the next property of metals, which says that metals are good conductors of electricity. Next, We have all enjoyed playing that game of tossing a coin, right? But have you ever observed or noticed when the coin flips and falls on the ground, it produces some sort of sound, right? So this is also another and the last property of metals, which says that metals, when hit on a hard surface, will produce a ringing sound, which is called as sonorous. So this says that the metals are sonorous. Well, if these are all the properties of metals, what do you think will be the properties of non-metals? In simple words, they are just opposite of metals, but with some exceptions. So these non-metals are usually exist in either solid state or gaseous state, except bromine, which exists in liquid state. These non-metals are non-malleable, non-ductile and non-sonorous. Metals are hard, as we know, but the non-metals are brittle, which means they are not hard, except carbon. So this carbon can exist in different forms such as diamond and graphite, which are actually very hard. So this is the exception in case of non-metals. These non-metals are not good conductors of heat and electricity. So these are all about the differences in the physical properties of metals and non-metals. Let's continue the chapter in the next video.